So let me ask you something. Where does your sense of worth really come from? Is it from what other people think? Or is it something deeper from within? We're going to dive into that very question today, and trust me, the answer might not be what you expect. And look, this is a tough one, but let's just be real for a second. Have you ever felt worthless? You know that sinking feeling in your gut that you just don't measure up? That maybe, just maybe, you're somehow broken inside? Well, that exact feeling is right at the heart of this incredible story we're going to unpack. It's about this young, really devout man. And for years, I mean years, he'd been trying so hard to grow, to work on himself, but he just felt completely stuck. Like no matter what he did, something was just deeply, fundamentally wrong with him. So one day, he finally gets to meet this wise rabbi. And after just a few moments of talking, the rabbi looks him dead in the eye and delivers this one single, absolutely crushing word in Hebrew, "Flitzon." He tells him, "You are external." Wow. I mean, what a devastating thing to hear. But here's where it gets really interesting. The young man's reaction, it wasn't what you'd think. Yeah, he was hurt, for sure. But he also felt this weird sense of relief. It was like, finally, someone had said out loud the awful thing he'd been whispering to himself for his entire life. Okay, so to really get why this one word landed like a punch to the gut, we need to understand what these terms actually mean. Shitzen, that's the external person. Think superficial. Someone who acts without real intention, who lives for what other people think. And then you have panimi, the internal person. That's the total opposite. We're talking deep, sincere, someone who lives from the inside out, from their own truth. So the big question is, why did that label external cut so deep? Well, to get to the bottom of it, we've got to go way back. We have to look at a part of ourselves that was formed long before we could even understand words like internal or external. You see, we all carry a message from our childhood about what we're worth. And deep inside, there's this part of us. You can call it the surviving child. This is the little kid version of us that learned how to get by, and it figured out its value by absorbing all the messages it got from the world around it. Yeah, that's exactly it. This inner child literally built its entire sense of self-worth based on what its parents said, what teachers thought, how friends acted. And here's the crazy part. Even now, as a full-grown adult, that little kid inside still believes, deep down, that its value is decided by what everyone else thinks. So when that rabbi called the young man external, it wasn't some brand new, shocking idea. Not at all. It was just a confirmation of everything that surviving child already believed. It was like hearing a voice say, "See, I told you so. Your value is conditional. You aren't good enough. You really are just what other people think of you. You're flawed." Okay, but here's where we get to the massive turning point in this whole story. What if, and this is huge, what if this entire framework is just wrong? What if this whole battle we have with ourselves, am I internal, am I external, is built on a total and complete misunderstanding? And that question leads us to a completely radical new way of looking at this, a whole new understanding of what it really means to be an inner person. Okay, get ready for this because this is the profound twist. The true mark of an internal person, a pinimi, isn't being perfect. It's not about being sincere all the time, no. The real sign of an inner person is the search, the fact that you are constantly looking for truth, the fact that you are bothered by your flaws. That, right there, that's the proof of your inner depth. And this is exactly what the lecturer in this story tells the young man. He looks at him and says, "There is no one more internal, no one more panimi than you." And you can imagine the young man's shock. Why? The lecturer says, "Because for over 15 years, you have been searching and you haven't found the answer. You are truly searching. That struggle, that suffering, that is the ultimate proof." I mean, just think about that for a second. A truly external person, they wouldn't even care. They wouldn't be losing sleep over their spiritual state. So the young man's suffering wasn't a sign that he was external at all. It was the very proof of his inner life. It was the engine driving his whole search. Okay, so if the struggle itself is actually a sign of value, what do we do with that? How does that change, our day-to-day lives? This is where we move from just understanding the problem to actually finding our mission right inside of it. And this leads to another just incredibly powerful idea. Where it is most difficult for us, that is where our work is. Let that sink in. Your greatest challenge, the thing that causes you the most pain, the thing you think is your biggest flaw, it's not some random bug in your system. It's a signpost. It's pointing directly to your unique life's mission. So this just completely flips the script, doesn't it? Your value doesn't come from the outside. You don't have to earn it. Your value is your divine mission. And that mission is revealed to you right there, in the very heart of your biggest struggle. So what's the path to freedom here? Well, first, you have to actually see that surviving child inside you. Acknowledge it. But then, and this is the most important part, you have to recognize, wait a minute, I am not that child. You have to shift your identity. You're not the wounded kid, you're the observer, the divine soul that's watching. And when you make that shift, that's when you can truly embrace the mission that's hidden in your struggle. And this whole journey leads to what our source calls redemption. But it's not what you might think. It's not about fixing yourself or becoming some new, better person. It's actually about remembering who you have been all along.
Right, there's a beautiful Hebrew phrase for this, podeh b'shalom nafshi, which means redeeming the soul in peace. And what is that really? It's that exact moment, that click, when you stop identifying with the surviving child and you start identifying with your divine soul. It's an identity shift. You go from being the scared kid looking for approval to being the soul that's here on a mission.
And we really have to emphasize this. This is not about fixing a problem. It's not a psychological trick to feel better. It's about remembering who you have always been. It's about liberation, dropping a false identity you've been carrying around and coming home to your true self. Which brings us to this final, just mind-blowing idea. The fall is not a detour from the ascent. The fall is the beginning of the ascent. So every time you feel like you failed, every time that worthless feeling creeps in, that's not a detour, that's not a mistake. That's the starting line. That's the very beginning of the climb. So we want to leave you with this one question to chew on. Think about your greatest struggle, that one thing that you wrestle with more than anything else. What if it's not a flaw that you need to fix? What if it's actually your true calling,